Hey, what's going on everyone? Keith with the Tulsa Moto Club, and today we're going to tear apart the Honda CM200's engine. Stripping apart an engine on an older bike like this really isn't too hard. You want to have a manual for your bike to make sure that you keep track of everything so you can put it back together, and a few basic tools. As you can tell from looking at the engine, it's in pretty rough shape. It's super dirty and it has some rust in some areas. I just hope it's not an indication of what's on the inside. First, I'm going to pull the spark plugs out. As I expected, they aren't in very good shape, but even if they were, I'd still replace them just to be on the smart side. Once I got the top casing off, I was surprised to see that everything looked pretty clean and in good condition. Even the gaskets looked good. But just like the spark plugs, we'll replace all the gaskets as well anyway. Next, I move on to removing the side casings. Everything here starts off fine, but I do run into a bit of a problem. Alright, so some of these screws are being pretty stubborn and won't come out, and I might have to get my Dremel tool out and cut these out so that I can remove them with a flathead, make it a little bit easier. But it's a little dark outside, it's a little late, people are going to sleep, and I don't want to start using a Dremel really late at night, just not to disturb my neighbors, so we'll pick back up tomorrow. So it's taken me a lot longer than I expected to get back into the garage, but the weekend is here and we're back at it. We're gonna get the engine torn down the rest of the way, and as you saw earlier, a lot of the screws are stripped, so the first mission is to get those taken out. So let's get to it. As you just saw, I cut slits into the screws so I can remove them with a flathead. If you haven't seen the quick tip video I've made about this process, I'll throw a link up in the corner so you can check it out. So the screws on the engine case are being really stubborn, and they're super stripped, they're not coming out. I've even tried my little tricks of getting them out. So I'm going to run to the store and grab some screw extractor bits that I can get those out with, and we'll get them pulled out. So I didn't get to get back to it as quickly as I thought I would. It's the next day, but I did get a screw remover set, and we're going to get those out. Now I did go through and check a lot of the other screws on the other side of the engine as well, and a lot of those are stripped. I went ahead and removed what I could, and now we're going to remove the rest of the screws with this set here. So these screws are a little harder to remove than I was expecting. I've never really used the screw extractor set, so I wasn't really sure how it worked, but I followed the instructions and I'm still, you know, no luck, striking out, not getting these screws out. So I'm gonna fiddle around with some things and see what the best way to get these out is, and when I figure that out, I'll be right back. So my camera battery died, but to get most of the screws out, I used just a simple, trusty pair of vice grips. All the screws that I could grab the head of, I grabbed a hold of and pulled right out. Now there were a couple more stubborn screws that I couldn't get out. They were either at weird angles or they were just too stripped and messed up to grab a hold of. For those, I just used a Dremel tool with a grinding bit and ground off the head of the screw. Now I should be able to pop the casings right off. So this whole job is taking a lot longer than I'd expected. So I'm gonna go ahead and call this video done here. I got all the screws out, and now I can get the casings are actually off already. You can kind of see that right here. But now that I got those off, I can start pulling everything out of the engine itself and getting everything clean that needs to be cleaned. Everything that needs to be replaced can get replaced. I can powder coat or paint certain parts of the engine after I decide what I want to do there. But that'll all be in another video. This one's taking so long, I'm over it. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and call this video done. If you're not already, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any videos I put out in the future, including tearing the rest of this engine apart. And here's a couple other videos I think you might enjoy. Remember to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. And as always, thank you for watching. Later.